Hello, I'm Naohisa Ichihara, Head of Cybersecurity Department. Let me talk about LINE's omnidirectional cybersecurity efforts and challenges. First, self-introduction. As the head of Cybersecurity Department, I'm building countermeasures against user account hijacking and fraudulent security incidents in Japan and overseas, as well as standardization activities such as FIDO. Today's agenda. First, what is omnidirectional cybersecurity, and why is this necessary? Then, I will explain 3 factors supporting omnidirectional cybersecurity: technology, culture, people. Not only about technology, but also about organizational factors, followed by summary. First, many services provided by LINE should be secure, and LINE users should enjoy our services with peace of mind. This is the first essential step in cybersecurity. At the same time, we'd like customers to have trust online so that they keep enjoying our services. Users should always feel trust with our services. This is what we always seek for. Then, what is the trust? What generates this trust? Since LINE has become a major social infrastructure service in the society, trust is not easy to secure. To achieve that, we need omnidirectional cybersecurity, as this title says, or in other words, we should always try challenging all the possibilities. All the possibilities, or what we have done, are described in these 10 small circles, which I will explain in this presentation one by one. These 10 elements are broken into 3 aspects: technology, people, culture. The first element is technology. All of you can agree that technology is one of the most important elements in cybersecurity. The first thing we need to do in cybersecurity is to take full advantage of the insight of engineers and technology, as well as potential technological capabilities to secure services. The second element is culture. Cybersecurity Department has a responsibility for LINE's culture, that is to provide new services quickly and supporting them securely without decreasing the speed of provisioning. Based on the social trend, regulations, and public opinions, we try to understand how we should handle the latest technology and user data we take care of, and to incorporate them to our activities. This activity is also called LINE's culture. Activities related to the culture is not simple give and take, and I think it is not easy to continue. But there is a value that only LINE can support. By taking advantage of such technologies and through the creation of such culture, we generate values in cybersecurity. This is done by each of the engineers, people in this circle. Developing engineers and growing teams will lead to the sustainable cybersecurity. So far, I have briefly talked about 3 aspects in omnidirectional cybersecurity. Then, why do we need to take such omnidirectional actions? Let me explain about 2 points perspective. The first point is about trends of cybersecurity. Security in the past was focused on the protection against attacks such as setting up firewalls, authentication, access control, antivirus, and the patch application. Of course, they are still important. But recent cybersecurity attack targets are large-scale information systems and measures. Measures include ATP and zero-day attacks by nation-state level advanced hacker groups. Because of this trend, defensive protection is getting not enough. Currently, based on the assumption that complete block against unauthorized access is difficult, it is necessary to start from the idea that system will be broken. How can we quickly detect anomaly in the system, minimizing the damage and restore as quickly as possible? Such ideas called resilience has now most focused. Another point is about LINE services and our standpoint as a company. LINE has huge number of users and provide various services and own huge volumes of global data information or privacy information of users. Therefore, LINE as a large-scale infrastructure has a big social responsibility. We think it is necessary for us to challenge and execute more advanced cybersecurity than general enterprise in order to fulfill our responsibility. This is the biggest reason and motivation for us to deal with omnidirectional cybersecurity. Later, I will explain the specific actions relating to the three areas: technology, culture, and people. Number 1, security development. First is about technology. Number 1, security development. Here, let me briefly explain about the development of security modules and technologies used in LINE applications you use. First is about anti-abuse. Since the launch of LINE services, we have been tackling against spams and the hijacking accounts. Especially, account hijacking started in 2012 has impacted many users. The fight against this attack has been long, using advanced technologies including various block rules and machine learning. It was like a never-ending game and continued many years. Finally, last year in 2019, we achieved 0 incidents of account hijacking. We talked about it in LINE Developer Day 2019. There are still various types of abuse. To tackle this, we have been revising specifications, monitoring, developing block rules. We've been discussing every day for the improvement. Next is about E2EE. E2EE is an abbreviation of end-to-end encryption. In LINE, we call this letter sealing. This is an encryption protocol for a message exchange between sender and receiver. First, ECDH-based handshake and key sharing is done. Then, using a AES-DCM, message is encrypted or decrypted. With this encryption protocol, called letter sealing, even LINE company cannot read your message. This is a very important function to protect your privacy. Letter sealing is applicable to text message, location information, and one-on-one text and video communication. Stamps and other images and movies are out of the scope. When user makes spam message report to us, the message is decrypted and sent to LINE's dedicated server. And when URL thumbnail needs to be displayed, the URL information is sent to LINE server, a dedicated server for thumbnail. There are several such exceptions. Although number 1 priority for letter sealing is privacy protection, by temporarily disabling the function, total balance is maintained. As for the detailed specification, please refer to Line Encryption White Paper. Next is about passwordless login. We use FIDO. This is a new function released recently. As you already know, password is a very serious issue now. You forgot your password, phishing or passwordless attack. There are many issues. Line has dedicated to release passwordless login mechanism in November. First, we support iPad. When you log in to Line application, a secondary application, passwordless login, will be available. When a user logs in to this secondary application, inputting mail address will send a push to iOS or Android Line application, which is primary application. That enables a face or fingerprint authentication on smartphones. Successful authentication enables a login to a secondary application. We use FIDO2 specification, which is a standard technology for passwordless login. So let me talk about this. This is a flow of the FIDO protocol in background. Before login, FIDO registration and authentication key generation supporting fingerprint authentication on smartphone side is required. At login, an authentication request will be sent to an authentication server via secondary application. Authentication server sends a request to FIDO server requesting the start of FIDO authentication, and the FIDO2 protocol runs. At this time, smartphone receives a request of biological authentication through a push mechanism to smartphone. When this FIDO2 protocol or FIDO authentication ends successfully, authentication success is sent to a secondary application via application server, authentication server. That means login is successful. In this slide, I will talk about client-side architecture of FIDO. In FIDO protocol, two types of public and private keys in public key cryptography are required. One is attestation, validation of FIDO authentication, another for user authentication. Secret keys for both needs to be stored in FIDO client side. When FIDO is implemented on mobile applications, confidential information such as secret keys need to be safely stored in smartphones. Different support conditions in each OS requires different approaches, and we design from scratch to implementation. Attestation key generation and management is implemented in white box cryptography module. User secret key are stored in keychain for iOS and Android key store for Android. FIDO client is implemented as a whole by providing an encryption module uniquely developed in C++ to mobile applications via wrapper. The details will be presented in the sessions starting from 13:30 and 15:10 today. Please go to the sessions if you have an interest. Next is about Secure by Design. At the stage of service planning and upstream software development, security engineers and privacy experts join in service and development in the form of PIA or Privacy Impact Assessment and Security Consultant to support secure service design. These days, more businesses are utilizing various types of data, so this PIA process is very important as a part of Line data governance. Consulting by PIA team is mandatory for the services using data. As software development goes on, source code under development is tested, and at QA, vulnerability check or risk assessment is conducted. We have a rule that all the services should go through this risk assessment. This is also done by cybersecurity department engineers. In the development of passwordless login and E2EE, we become direct members of development and develop, configure, and integrate security modules and HSM. When unique network server environment is required, such as financial services, engineers are directly involved in the support of infrastructure security design and configuration.
Next is a proactive defending. First, Line launched the Line Bug Bounty program from 2016. For the vulnerability diagnosis, there are some vulnerability that we cannot identify fully. Then we receive the report from the external engineers for the services that are operated. Currently, these are running on HackerOne platform, and also we have the regular monitorings on the systems, and also from the server informations, we have those developed systems to automatically and actively find the vulnerabilities and also automatically applying the patch. So we engineers are developing this. Therefore, we are focused on the quickly and automatically addressing the vulnerabilities in a wide range of the space, and also the network server environment and security designs. We work with Line IT department. We are developing and designing, building and operating the infrastructure security, and especially the zero-day attack is frequently happening. And even if it's a large-scale server environment, we implement host-based IDS, and also we have the challenging initiatives to comprehensively manage the tens of thousands of servers. And current Line infrastructures have the hybrid environment, such as a public cloud, private cloud, on-premise. And also we need to safely run the hybrid environment. And we focus on the design of the security architecture and the building network and safe OS image auto distribution and the HSM-based credential management and SSL certificate management. So our engineers are involved in those, and those initiatives will be introduced in the following session at the 1610, 1650, and 3, the 1500. So please attend those sessions. Number 4 is automation and orchestration. So far, I have explained about the engineers' activities, and we are trying to develop for the efficiency and advancement of those. For example, ticket management system for the security challenges end-to-end throughout the project, and also automatic vulnerability diagnosis research is going on. Meta-learning is also used in the research, and this presentation will be at the 15:20 today. Please participate in that session. Next, I will talk about these 4 cultures. First culture is called quick and safe. In other words, we pursue safety, that's a given. However, at the same time, we focus on the speed. This is the one of the cultures we really focus on. For example, vulnerabilities are identified or incident happens, then we quickly investigate to make the bug fix. But the Line is a large-scale system, then sometimes it takes a long time to make a decision to release the fixed version. But in Line, our communication among the engineers is quick, and also this impact assessment for the fix is self-contained to a certain extent within the engineers. So decision-making process is quick. For example, in September this year, there were a massive attempt to Line as an unauthorized login, and the adversary actually took the Line user's password, and they got away with that. And we actually worried about the secondary damage from this. And the tens of thousands of the users who were impacted, maybe we thought that it would be a good idea to force them to reset their password. We started that discussion, and we talked about the pros and cons immediately. But normally, this action requires very much consideration, but the service side quickly understand the both pros and cons, and we almost instantaneously made a decision to force the password reset. As a result, we took the emergency action to force the password to be reset. Another example is that we thought about the expanding VPN and the pandemic. The VPN users would increase. That's the original assumption. But if VPN experienced the failures and problem, what should we do? VPN help desk may not be able to do anything. That was a deadlock issue. At that time, zero trust environment that was developed for the other services, and the idea was to use this for this VPN. And as of February 14th, we discussed this, and 12 days later, we already knew that we will apply the remote work across all employees. So this proposal was quickly decided, and this zero trust was implemented. As a result, on February 26, we are able to launch the hybrid operation of the VPN and the zero trust environment. So Line really focused on the speed, and that will become the big advantages in the emergency situation like the today. Number 6 is the external communication. This is another important culture we treasure at Line. For example, Line hosts the event called the BEX.io. We invite the non-Line engineers, and they present their experiences and technologies. And this event is held not just in Japan, but also Taiwan and South Korea on a regular basis. And the cyber bosai, or disaster prevention. This is the campaign for general public, launched from 2017. This is another external event. Every year we hold this on the June 9th. Many internet companies, mobile carrier, and Metropolitan Police Department are participating to educate the general public about the phishing and the hijacking compromise on the internet. We also invite some celebrities, and we throw some quiz for them to answer. So we are holding some of the campaigns. And number 7 is openness. This is another important culture in Line. For example, Line publicizes the transparency report every year. Based on the government organization's warrant, we submit the information, and in this report, we talk about the types of the information we submit and also encryption situation in details. We would like to show Line's security posture as much as possible in the information we disclose. This highly transparent corporate activities would result in earning the trust. That is an important attitude that we have, as mentioned in the beginning. And security branding. Line invited the globally famous security influencers and researchers, and we hold a security summit in Japan, North America, and Europe. We have the discussion about our security postures and the initiatives with the global influencers and authorities. And also, we believe it is important to keep updating them about our posture. So far, for example, 1986 Turing Award winner Robert Tarjan, he is the U.S. Computer Science Authority, has presented, and also chairman of OpenID Foundation, Mr. Natsuhiko Yukimura, has also presented. So we have this active discussion to revisit our ideas and postures. And lastly, people. First, security skill development. In line, the internal software development engineers get some education content through the e-learning system that we developed, and also Line class to learn about the security design and implementation. And these are developed by our own engineers in the security department. And Line class is not just providing the engineers education, but also the general employees education and the test and the written or submissions. And also security engineer, our engineers are using this e-learning system for their own learning e-learning systems. And this Line class, for example, general software's vulnerability, such as a closed-site scripting, and also Line-specific security implementation knowledge, know-how can be learned. Here you can learn and take tests and take classes on a regular basis. And the Line class has the study room, so you can learn about the technologies and vulnerabilities and take tests anytime whenever you don't understand certain topics. And for infrastructure security engineers, we developed our own education contents. Infrastructure security engineers, once they join the company, they learn the hands-on education contents to acquire the basic infrastructure security skills. Just like the Line class, the education contents can be used and learned anytime. Engineers' security skill development is one of the focus areas that we have. And lastly, it is about the research. Security and the privacy-related research. We are very much proactive and actively involved in these research. For example, FIDO. Earlier, we talked about the passwordless new authentication, the standardization of such new technology specification. We are carrying out the activities. And next is a GNI. This is to understand the global trend about the privacy and data governance. And in order for us to take appropriate measures and understand this, we have continued these activities. And also the GILIS support us about the interpretation of the Japanese laws and regulations for us to deeply understand and interpret the laws and regulations. And from the beginning, they have been supporting us and also engaged in our activities. And the Line security engineers participate in the security conferences and the global conferences to report and present the latest research and the business and the initiatives. They have the active opportunities to externally disseminating our initiatives. So cybersecurity department support the participation fee or also the traveling fee, because it facilitates the growth opportunities of the members, and the presentation skills can be improved. And also that they can increase the Line presence. Now it's a summary. So in the first part, I talk about the fact that the Line is trying to earn the users' trust and thinking about the recent Line social responsibility and posture and the cybersecurity situation in recent years. We have the omnidirectional cybersecurity initiatives. And I talked about the 10 initiatives such as technology, culture, people. So we will continue to catch up with the business speed and pursue the cutting-edge technologies and maintain the transparency to the external parties and self-improve and grow ourselves. And we would like to continue those challenges that I talked about. And I'm confident that this will result in earning the users' trust. Thank you very much for your attention.